Welcome, everyone, to another edition of Between Two Brokers. It's Schmoopy time, and we have a special guest. Melissa Barker has been here for an interview, and we are going to involve her in this Dear Schmoopy question. Thank you so much for emailing your questions to podcast@smithspencer.com. Please keep them coming. Okay. I am a newer agent, less than 3 years in the business, and sold around 10 million last year. I want to increase my personal brand and visibility. Do you recommend getting my own website? I got a quote for one recently and it was $4,000. What do you think of that price? Would you invest that money if you were me? Schmoopy, do you have thoughts?
I have thoughts.
Okay.
What do I think of that price? I mean, I don't know what the going rate is for a website. It was a lot less than what we paid for ours.
Yes, but we're
7 years
also
ago.
a brokerage.
Yeah.
And we have a lot of I would say, I think what's safe to assume from this question is they're not going to put like MLS on, it's just their own personal brand, which is, yes.
Yeah. I mean, it can't hurt. I don't know that you have to go the $4,000 route, but definitely don't put MLS on there. I know that is expensive to rope in that IDX search.
And you're never going to be able to compete with, number one, any kind of big brokerage in the area or Zillow.
Yeah.
And Zillow and Realtor, I mean, unfortunately, that's what I tell my clients to do. Yeah. I know that we should be using the Smith Spencer app, but I mean, it's whatever gives them the information or looking at the properties they need in the fastest way, and that's the fastest way.
And Zillow's put millions of dollars into their technology, and no one is going to go to your personal website to search for real estate. No. So don't bother with that.
Except for your mom.
Yeah, maybe your mom. And then she'll let you know when it doesn't work.
So Melissa is actually married to Thomas Davis, who's a broker here in town. So this makes... There is always nuance to the question. So if you are your own brokerage, you 100% have to have your own website.
Yes.
And Thomas has his own brokerage. So can you kind of talk about his website, maybe some of the features that you guys thought were important to put on there and why you thought it was necessary?
He'll be so glad he got mentioned. Thank you for that plug. Yes. So like any business, your website is like your shop window to the world. And I'm always I'm always an advocate rather of building your personal brand. So on the topic before, I would say if you have the money to invest in building your own personal brand, you should absolutely do that. It doesn't have to be in the form of the website. It could be using social media. Mm-hmm. It does, right? To your point about traffic, you probably get more followers on your Insta than you would traffic to your website.
That's what I'm like. If I'm looking somebody up, I start at Instagram.
Go there first. Yeah.
Yeah.
So for Thomas's website for Abode Charleston, really the goal was, all right, if you look at all of the different real estate websites out there, everyone is talking about the same thing. I mean, y'all are in such a unique industry because you're all selling the same product. Mm-hmm. And as a marketer, that's really confusing to me, right? Because I work with businesses and everyone has a unique product. So what you're really selling is you, so probably personal branding matters more in real estate than in any industry. So for him, our goal was, how do we just make it instantly relatable? Like, how do you fall in love with Thomas as the broker? Mm-hmm. And so the headline we picked right when you get to the homepage is, we've got something in common. We love Charleston too. Mm. So it was just an instant kind of way not to say like, hey, like award winning, or 1% or whatever. Like we wanted to lead with, what do people really care about? Like they want to know that you love this city that they're buying a house in as much as they do. Mm-hmm. So of course we've got all the basics, like we've got the blog and the plugin for searching for real estate. But I would say probably the thing we spent the most time on is all of the resources. Like how to pick part of town, the part of town that you love, evaluating schools.
Yeah. That's really important.
I think a website is good for resources. But again, if it's just about like building your personal brand and having people get to know you, I don't think a website is the place to do that because, nobody's going to go in there and read about what you do in your free time. And I think the message on most realtor websites is all this. It's not about the sale. It's about the relationship, all this bullshit that they're trying to all this polished, let's look professional. And Instagram, like that's where I would put my money is on your, and if you need to pay somebody to help you because you don't like to do it, then do that. But that's where you learn about somebody. You know?
And it's a good testing ground. Like you can use Instagram to like post different photos and kind of brand yourself and like try out different messaging. And that's actually probably a really good idea before you go and build the website.
Totally agree. I mean, I tell every single one of the women on our team that they are their own brand. In fact, I was interviewing somebody the other day who is going to be switching brokerages and is very nervous about leaving a very reputable broker in town that has like a fancy name attached to it. And I was like, they are not the brand. You are the brand. And so I think you're exactly right. I think that Instagram is the perfect place to test what really works in terms of what people are responding to and clicking to, because then, you know, I mean, I would think if you're an agent and you just want your own personal website, it should probably be very simple with like testimonials and maybe some of your biggest sales. I mean, very, very simple. $4,000 seems like too much to me for that. Can't you just like get with a college student and throw $1,000 at them and get, I don't know. I mean, I don't know, but I think that there are other avenues that are, you know, social media is, you're just going to get so much more reach because the only people that are going to go to a website are people that you direct there. They're not going to Google Charleston real estate agents and you show up without all that effort and SEO, and you're never going to be able to compete with the people, and I mean never, that have been doing SEO for years and years and years. We didn't realize this when we started Smith Spencer Real Estate. We were like, oh, well, let's get to the top. And everybody that we were talking to is like, that takes a lot of years.
Yeah.
You know, and we finally got there. But like, if you're starting even a brand new brokerage now and you invest tons and tons of money, it takes forever for Google to recognize you. So just know that part is futile. And I would just say start with that. And then if you find a need for your own personal website for your brand, I would do it. But I personally would not spend that much money, which I know surprises Erin. Since she thinks I like to spend money.
Well, you do.
I think the way I think about it is, where can I take $4,000 and put it in my business?
There you go.
AKA give it to Tori and tell her to run with it. Because I think that there's so much more that can be done.
I totally agree.
Yep.
And we forgot to introduce Melissa. Melissa Barker was here on an earlier podcast, and we had this opportunity to answer a question that I felt like she was going to be able to give us some additional insight on, since she's married to a real estate broker, has built a real estate website, and
AbodeCharleston.com.
AbodeCharleston.com, a fierce competitor of Smith Spencer Real Estate. No, a very friendly competitor, I guess. We don't really compete.
No.
Thomas and I have known each other for a long time, Melissa's husband, and definitely collaborate about business. And he's a fantastic broker here in town. But that's why we wanted to have her on. So we hope that you enjoyed listening to our take. And don't forget that you can always reach out to Melissa and check out her business at womensentrepreneurs.com and also on Instagram. Thanks so much for tuning in. Don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe, and submit all of your Dear Schmoopy questions to podcast@smithspencer.com. Thank you.